Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today, Hare Krishna, thank you very much for joining us. And we'd like to recite or do a quick overview of chapters 37 and hopefully chapter 38 of the Srimad Bhagavatam 10th Canto. So I'd like to seek your good wishes and your blessings so that we can enter into the nectar of the Bhagavatam. And this is a nice verse from chapter 37, text number 23.
Ishwaram Swashayam Atmayaya Nirvitsasesha Vishesha Kalpanam Vidatanadhyatmanusha Vigraham Natos Nituryam Yadureshi Sattvatam. Bow down to you, the Supreme Controller, who are dependent only on yourself by your potency. You have constructed the unlimited particular arrangements of this universe. Now you have appeared as the greatest hero among the Yadus, Vrishnis and Sattvatas, and have chosen to participate in human warfare.
So a wonderful prayer. I think it's by Narad Muni. So we can see the context of this prayer in a minute. So this prayer, this chapter is entitled The Killing of the Demons Keshi and Vyoma. Now, if you recall, comes called Keshi, but he didn't have too much faith in Keshi to kill Krishna, because he sent a crew as well to bring Krishna to Mathura. But anyway, Keshi, being the obedient devotee of Kamsa, he appeared in Braj as a great horse. Running with the speed of mind, he tore up the earth with his hoofs. The hairs on his mane scattered the clouds and demigods' airplanes throughout the sky. And he terrified everyone present with his loud neighing. Seeing the Lord standing before him, Keshi ran toward him in extreme rage, his mouth gaping as if to swallow up the sky. He tried to strike the lotus-eyed Lord with his two front legs, but Krishna dodged Keshi's blow, another dance, no doubt, and then with his arms angrily seized the demon by the legs, whirled him around in the air and contemptuously threw him the distance of 100 meters. Upon regaining consciousness, Keshi angrily got up, opened his mouth wide, and again rushed to attack Lord Krishna. But the Lord just smiled and thrust his left arm into the horse's mouth. Keshi's teeth immediately fell out. Within Keshi's body, Krishna's arm then expanded greatly and completely blocked Keshi's breathing. The demon then passed stool and fell dead on the ground. Without the least display of pride at having so effortlessly killed his enemy, the Lord accepted the demigod's worship in the form of flowers rained down from above. So actually what happened, described by, I believe, one of the acharyas, was that before Keshi met with Krishna, that day, Balaram decided that he would imitate Krishna. So he had a flute, he had the peacock feather. And as soon as he came out into the forest, this Keshi demon actually gave him a kick. And Balaram, he was so surprised by that, he went back home and he put away the flute and the peacock feather, saying to Mother Yashoda, I think this is better suited for Krishna. So it was a very humorous pastime that as soon as Balaram came out, he got kicked because Keshi thought this is Krishna. So this is when Krishna was 11 years, 6 months, and 4 days old. And we've sort of covered all of this. So he looks ferocious, and he was ferocious. He was so tall, so high, like in the sky, like a big cloud. Or no, sorry, he wasn't like a big, but he was huge. He was huge.
Touching the clouds.
Touching the sky. And of course, the Lord never shies away from a challenge. Nor does Balaram, but this was just part of the pastime. And we just sort of read about how Krishna killed the demon and put his hand in his mouth, left hand, and his hand felt to Keshi like a hot iron rod. His teeth fell out and his throat was choked up. At his last breath came unless his hand going in, left hand, his eyeballs bulged in his sockets, his vital force of his life expired. And Krishna, of course, extracted his hand without any difficulty. Demigods were amazed through showers of flowers. The lesson to learn, Keshi demon represents a sense of vanity and ego. Keshi was a horse. Horses are controlled by pulling their mouths with ropes. So very interesting.
Also, it said he was showing his teeth, and that's why Krishna knocked his teeth out as well.
After giving him a beating, Krishna came and rested in Keshigat on the Yamuna, and that is famously known as Keshigat, which is where we often go when we visit Vrindavan, maybe bathe here, maybe do some puja. Aarti to the Yamuna is done here every evening, maybe in the morning as well. But it's a fantastic aarti to witness. Oops. So, oh yeah, so just a few other points which we had made before. Krishna received the name Keshav after killing this demon, Keshi. So often when this name of Krishna, Keshav, is spoken before the gopis, they feel great sadness, because this is one of the last demons that he kills. And it reminds them that after killing this demon, Krishna left. So they become very, very sad. Lessons from the killing is that if Brahmins, twice born, take the side of demons, then the Kshatriyas who come from Krishna's arms can knock them out of their position. Teeth, twice born. Teeth are the twice born because we get baby teeth and then we get later on another set of teeth. Proud people often boast about themselves with their own mouths and criticize others. So one should curtail these demoniac tendencies by restricting one's tongue, by engaging in bhajaupa, and by chanting the holy names of Krishna. Very nice instructions about Keshi. So continuing on with this chapter, Narad Muni praises Krishna. Thereafter, Lord Krishna was approached in solitary place by the great sage among demigods, Narad Muni, and he praised him as follows. Praised him as the super soul of all created beings, sitting unseen within the cave of the heart, like the fire dormant within wood. So this is really interesting. Wood has this fire within it, which is dormant until it's lit. The witness is, Lord is witness within everyone. He is a supreme personality, ultimate controlling deity, the shelter of all souls, fulfiller of desires simply by his will. He fulfills our desires, but he also fulfills his own desires simply by his will. Manifested in the beginning, the primal mode of attuned nature. He creates, maintains, and then destroys this universe. He descends to the earth to annihilate the Daityas, Paramath, and Rakshash demons, and to protect the godly. Those are nice glorifications in these verses. And also Narad Muni then predicts the future. He tells Krishna everything that's going to happen, which is really interesting, how The devotee of the Lord is telling the Lord, this is what's going to happen. He predicted how Krishna would kill Kamsa and all these wrestlers and the elephant, and as well as many other demons. He would steal the Parijata flower for Satyabhama from heaven, Indra's place, to please her. He would marry many other princesses. It's all predicted by Narad Muni. He would act as Arjun's chariot driver in the great battle of Mahabharata. He would appear as personified time and kill entire armies. And then and there were many other predictions which we can read in these verses here. I didn't list them all. And then Narad Muni, after making those predictions and pleasing the Lord with his glorification, he took his leave and he went away feeling great joy at having directly seen Krishna. So this is really incredible. What a personality he is. And after Krishna killed the Keshi demon, Krishna returned to tending the cows with his friends in the forest, as though nothing had happened. While Krishna was tending the cows with his friends, they were playing a game of thieves and sheep. In that game, some acted as thieves, others as shepherds, and others as sheep. They played their game happily without fear of danger. However, the demon Vyomasura had entered the group appearing as a cowherd boy and was stealing away many boys to keep them captive in a cave, which he sealed shut with a boulder. Finally, Krishna forcefully seized the demon as he was taking away more cowherd boys. The demon, however, changed into his original form, as big and powerful as a great mountain. But try as he might to free himself, he could not do so, having lost his strength from being held in the Lord's tight grip. What a fortunate asura. Huh? Lord Achyuta clutched Vyomasura between his arms and threw him to the ground. Then, while the demigods in heaven looked on, Krishna killed him in the same way that one kills a sacrificial animal. Krishna then smashed the boulder, blocking the cave's entrance, and led the trapped cowherd boys to safety. Thereafter, as the demigods and cowherd boys sang his glories, he returned to his cowherd village, Gokul. Although that must be Vrindavan, right? Or Nandagaon. Yeah, Nandagaon. So this is Vyomasura. Same day as Keshi was killed. And he was the son of Maya, and the demon who flies in the sky. So like a bat demon. He's a Batman. He's our version of Batman, but he's not a good guy. So this is just another painting which illustrates the pastime. So that's the end of chapter 37. Any comments, any questions? Anybody like to ask anything or know or share anything? Okay, otherwise we can shift on to chapter 38.
Shikashe Naita Shtamo Nacha Pyodvesha Upeksha Evava Tathapi Bhaktam Bhajate Yatha Tatha Suro Drumo Yadvat Upashito Tadaha. The Supreme Lord has no favorite and no dearest friend, nor does he consider anyone undesirable, despicable, or fit to be neglected. All the same, he lovingly reciprocates with his devotees in whatever manner they worship him, just as the trees of heaven fulfill the desires of whoever approaches them.
So this is a good thing to remind ourselves often. We may have friends and enemies, some people we don't like, and we perhaps thinking, we don't like them, I'm sure the Lord doesn't like them as well. They're not really devotees. But actually this verse is very clear, The Supreme Lord has no favorites, no dear most friend, nor does he consider anyone undesirable, despicable, or fit to be neglected. So very important to understand, everybody Krishna loves equally. Of course, he reciprocates with those who lovingly reciprocate with him. So that's natural. But the Lord himself is completely neutral. This chapter is entitled A Cruise, Arrival in Vrindavan. And this is really tough chapters. Describes his trip from Mathura to Vrindavan, his meditation on Krishna, Balaram along the way, and the honor the two lords showed Akrura upon his arrival. He was very eager to meet Krishna and Balaram. He mounted his chariot and set off for the cowherd village of Nanda Maharaj. Feeling tremendous devotion for the Lord and wondering as a materialist, he considered himself material. Of course, he's a pure devotee. What good fortune that he has done to see Krishna face to face. He considered that his sinful reactions would be eradicated and his birth become successful. He even considered King Kamsa extremely merciful by sending him to see the lotus feet of Lord Hari, who simply by the effulgence of his toenails, many souls in the past have transcended this insurmountable darkness of material existence and achieved liberation. So even though Kamsa is a pretty nasty piece of work, of course, Akrura credited him with this great benediction to see the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. Akrura's meditation. Krishna's lotus feet are worshipped by Brahma, Shiva, and all other demigods, by the goddess of fortune, also by the great sages and Vaishnavas. His meditation on Lord Krishna was as follows. He is a witness of material cause and effect as a supersoul. Yet he is always free from false identification with them. He's not under illusion. By his internal potency, he dispels the darkness of separation and confusion. The individual souls in this world indirectly perceive him through intelligence, also through the senses, through the mind. All sins are destroyed. All good fortune is created by his qualities, activities, appearances. Words that describe these three things animate, beautify, and purify the world. He maintains the principles of religion that he has created. He spreads his fame, which brings auspiciousness to all. As we know, Lord Krishna is very humble. He doesn't like to advertise himself as Supreme Personality of Godhead. But it's important that his fame is known throughout the world, because how else are we going to get any auspiciousness? So he spreads his fame, even though he's humble. So these are wonderful qualities of the Lord. What was Akrura's expectation? He thought, when I get down from my chariot, I will offer my obeisances to the residents of Vrindavan. And then the Lord, he will place his lotus hand upon my head. I will become fearless. The Lord will not consider me as an enemy because he knows my heart. He will embrace me as his intimate relative. Then Balaram will welcome me and take me to his house. Then I will at once alight from my chariot. No, we've done that bit. He will cast his smiling, affectionate glance upon me as I remain fixed with joined palms, fallen in obeisances at his feet. All my contamination will at once be dispelled. I will give up all doubts and feel the most intense bliss. Recognizing me as an intimate friend and relative, Krishna will embrace me with his mighty arms, diminishing to nil all my material bondage. He will address me, my dear Akrura. Balaram then grasps my joined hands while I'm standing with my head bowed. And after embracing me, he will take me to his house. There he will honor me with many respectable items and inquire from me about camps. Oh, I forgot that. So as Akru was approaching Vrindavan, he reached Gokul as the sun was beginning to set. When he saw the Lord's footprints in the cowherd pasture, he became ecstatic. So this is before he saw the Lord himself. Then this is wonderful. It's really wonderful pictures here, paintings. While going to Vrindavan, he began to pray to the Lord. Very nice prayers. So he set the mood of how one should approach Vrindavan. And we'll go through that in a little while. And another painting here, he's paying his obeisances to the lotus feet of the Lord. The footprints, rather. Although Akru was trusted by the enemy of Krishna comes, his heart was clear. He was a pure devotee of Krishna. He risked becoming Kamsa's deputy just to meet Krishna. So sometimes devotees do some crazy things for Krishna, to see Krishna, to be with Krishna, to remember Krishna. And they know, since Krishna knows my heart, certainly when I approach him, he will embrace me. As soon as one reaches the boundary of Vrindavan, one should immediately smear the dust of Vrindavan all over his body without thinking of his material position or prestige. That's one of the ways how we can approach Vrindavan. So he jumped down from his chariot and rolled in the dust of those footprints, leaving aside all pride, fear, and lamentation. Then he saw the most beautiful Krishna and Balaram going to milk the cows. Krishna wore yellow garments, Balaram blue garments. Their eyes resembled autumnal lotuses. Krishna had a dark blue complexion. Balaram was white. As they walked with the gait of young elephants, glancing about with compassionate smiles, beautified the cow pasture with the impression of their feet, which bore the marks of the flag lightning bolt, the elephant gold and lotus. They were ornamented with jeweled necklaces and flower garlands, ointed with auspicious fragrant substances, freshly bathed, dressed in spotless raiments. Garments, yeah, sorry. It actually says raiments, must be a word. They resemble two gold-decked mountains, one of emerald, dark colored, and the other of silver, light colored, as with their effulgence that dispelled the sky's darkness in all directions. These are really incredible descriptions of the Supreme Lord. So this is a little idea. It was evening when Akru entered Vrindavan and he saw Krishna and Balaram playing with the cows. They were in the spring of their youth. They had beautiful bodily features. Akru could understand that both Krishna and Balaram had returned from tending the cows in the forest. They had taken their baths and were dressed with fresh clothes, garlanded with flowers, necklaces made of valuable jewels. Without hesitation, he got down from his chariot, fell flat, just like a rod, before Krishna and Balaram, who embraced him. Akru, overwhelmed with affection, quickly jumped down from his chariot, fell to the feet of Krishna and Balaram like a rod. This joy of seeing the Supreme Lord flooded Akru's eyes with tears. Recognizing Akru, Lord Krishna drew him close with his hand and embraced him. As Akru stood with his head bowed, Balaram grasped his joined hands and then took him to his house in the company of Lord Krishna. After inquiring from Akru whether his trip had been comfortable, Balaram offered him a first-class seat, bathed his feet in accordance with the injunctions of scripture, and respectfully served him milk with honey. Balaram presented Akru with the gift of a cow, massaged his feet to relieve him of fatigue, and then with great respect and faith, fed him suitably prepared food of various fine tastes. Then Lord Balaram offered him aromatic herbs for sweetening his mouth, along with fragrances and flower garlands. So Balaram actually sets the standard of when a guest arrives at home, especially one who is exalted and senior. Nand Maharaj asked the crew, how are you remaining alive under merciless Kamsa's rule? That cruel, self-serving Kams murdered the infants of his own sister in her presence, even as she cried in anguish. So why should we even ask about the well-being of you, his subjects? If he can be so cruel to his own nephews, what is he doing to you guys? Honored by Nanda Maharaj with these true and pleasing words of inquiry, a crew forgot the fatigue of his journey. So that's the end of the chapter. How to approach Vrindavan. There are many examples from a crew's example. Go with a heart of devotion. When we're going to Vrindavan, must be going with this fantastic feeling of going to the most holiest place in the world. Feel very fortunate to be able to go to Vrindavan. At the same time, feeling unqualified. Don't really deserve to be here. But thanking all those who have made it possible for us to go to Vrindavan. And there's so many people to thank for that. The aeroplane, the airline, the taxi man, the trains, whatever it is. Glorify the Lord's lotus feet as we're going to Vrindavan. Meditate on his form and pastimes. Focus on Krishna's beauty. Appreciate Krishna's beauty. Only do Krishna Katha. No gossip or politics. Offer obeisances to Vrindavan and the Lord's lotus feet. So these are 10 things which we can do on the way to Vrindavan. This was set, the standard was set by a crew. So any questions, any comments on these two chapters? Yeah, otherwise, Madhusudan proposed not that. Kamakshi?
Very well. Yeah, he just rang to say he is just doing a little bit of shopping and coming home. So I'm afraid it's me. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. The instructions so far for Canto 10, Chapter 37. In the chapter, it is wonderful how Narad Muni addresses Krishna. Narad Muni said, O Krishna, Krishna, unlimited Lord, source of all mystic power, Lord of the universe, O Vasudeva, shelter of all beings and the best of the others. O Master, you are the supreme soul of the created beings, sitting unseen within the cave of the heart like the fire dormant within the kindling wood. You are the witness within everyone, the supreme personality and the ultimate controlling deity. So we should understand that Krishna is within heart of every living entity and witnesses and fulfills our desires. Chapter 38. As we read about Akrur's journey to Narad Maharaj's village, we should carefully study his thoughts and mood of approaching Krishna and Balaram. When we are also ruled over by Krishna-like personalities, then as Narad Maharaj puts it as to Akrur, we are like sheep under the care of a butcher. We should pray for a similar situation to that of Akrur's who forget the fatigue of his journey. It is like our journey through the ocean of material existence. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Fantastic. Anybody, any questions or any comments?
You know, when earlier on, when Krishna, he loves everyone, regardless of anything and everything.
Yes.
But because of our weak mind, and we sometimes say, oh, why does Krishna put us through this and that? Then I suppose that is because of karma, isn't it?
Yeah.
That Krishna doesn't put you through. Krishna loves you equally.
Yes.
As he does. So, yeah, that was my little understanding at that time. Hare
Yeah,
Krishna.
that's good. That's a good understanding. There's three things that influence what's happening to us. Karma is definitely one. The other is, of course, our consciousness and
Yeah.
desires. Those three things play a role in what's happening to us.
Okay.
And it's interesting how if something untoward happens, we must understand. And I'm preaching to myself that, yes, it's my karma. But in addition to that, the Lord has sanctioned it to happen. He's allowed it to happen. And we should understand that the Lord is our well-wisher. So he's allowed it to happen for our own good. So it might be untoward according to us, but actually it's not, because the Lord would not have sanctioned it unless it is good for us.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's pretty powerful. And of course, when good things happen to us, we don't say to the Lord, hey, why did you sanction that?
I think at that time everybody forgets the Lord, and like what I understand about your mind being an enemy and by mind being your friend, you just the mind just forgets. It becomes like an enemy. It doesn't think that there's a friend there as well.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Otherwise, we have this tendency of blaming somebody or other, apart from ourselves. And
Correct.
usually it's the Lord, blame him. Why did you allow this to happen to me? But when good things happen,
Yeah.
we don't say the same. So
That's
it's a
Thank
good
you.
thing to understand. Thank you. Thank you
Hare
very much. Thank you for sharing. Anybody else? Otherwise, let's close it. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.